The reason why it was so bad the other day was because, like, you know, online dating, where I'm from, is horrible. I'm not gonna say where I am from specifically, but if you know, you know. And what essentially happened was, the person was like, this was a person that was just like, oh hey, like chatting, like I was just chatting with, and like through a lot of the process, it was a lot of me just going like, it was a lot of me, what was I doing? I don't know, I just talking. I do, whenever I talk about certain things, I'm just very, I don't want to say introspective, but I don't know. Dating pool in general is successful. Yeah, online dating is tough. Hit the, May the philosopher. Yeah, I'm very analytical about, you guys probably already know this. I can be very analytical about certain things, like extremely analytical to the point where I type up like, if you ask me a question or like any advice, you know how many words I'll type for you? I'll type up like a full-on novel because I have opinions on everything. Oh shit! Yeah, I have a lot of opinions on things. So if you ask me for my advice, I will 100% give it like, give me the hamburger. I'm not even saying, I won't tell you to give me the hamburger, but I will give it my all to try to make you feel better, right? The person, eventually, like, you know, the person was just like, oh wow, you're like so smart, Munii. Okay, this is not just me tooting my own horn, but I am smart. No, more food. But basically, I don't know, we were just talking, and then eventually, I think, in an attempt to kind of like, because at one point I was just like, hey, I'm not really sure if I see this like going anywhere, but like we can be friends. That was kind of like, I was kind of like not feeling it with that person, to be completely honest. But I was kind of like, well, you know, you gotta be nice, Munii. You gotta be nice. But anyways, so I was talking to this person, and then eventually it got to the point where they started saying like stuff like, oh, I was like interested in this other like this, because this is just completely unrelated to what we were talking about at that point. He was like, oh, I was like interested in like talking to this other person, or like getting the number from this other person, but I chose you, and I wanted to talk to you as opposed to talking to other people. Granted, I already told them, like, you know, if you, like, I don't really care when it comes to dating. Like, if we're not like in a relationship, just talk to whoever the hell you want. You owe me nothing. And so okay, and I'm gonna say this to anybody who is thinking about using this, or saying this to somebody, never say that to somebody, especially if you're trying to date them in the future, because it's such a stupid way to get someone to dislike you, because the tactic essentially is to make the other person insecure or very or to kind of like test their emotions, and I hate that. I hate that so much. It sounds manipulative, 100% devilish, 100% very manipulative. Increase my speed limit 100%. Okay, so anyways, they were trying to like kind of manipulate me to be kind of, I guess, like jealous and stuff like that. So I called them out on that shit because I don't have time for that. Because if someone's going to be like, hey, like there's somebody I was interested in contacting and blah blah blah, then I'm going to be like, then contact them. I don't care. I don't need somebody who is going to just be like, oh, like, talk to other people, right? Or I'm thinking about talking to other people, but like, I want to see how you react to it, because it is 100% manipulative, because you want me to be like, oh no, the urgency, because apparently you're some hot piece of shit. And in reality, that actually just pisses me off, yeah. So it got me so pissed, basically, and I told them off, and then, you know, to a certain point, I was just like, you know what, maybe they're just like, kind of awkward about these kind of things, and it's understandable to be awkward when you never really like dated people before, or like dated that many people. You kind of just like say like shit to kind of like, because you're I guess inexperienced. And this is not to say I'm experienced in dating for all that matter. It's just like I like to think I'm a very empathetic person. Or sympathetic person. I don't know what the word is. Oh god, I did No, they were up there. And then they also said some other shit. Like, I think if I remember correct, I haven't looked in the messages in like a couple days because like I've been angry about it. And it was basically like, how do I describe it? Like, they were kind of like, they're like, oh, but don't you feel good knowing that I picked you over the other girl? And I was like, no, hell no, like, no. Well, first of all, the person they wanted to get the number from, they didn't even know if they were single, first of all. And third of all, I'm like, this is just some poor random stranger that I have no idea what they do. That just sounds like a you problem. Yeah, like, I don't know, like, I'm just sitting there going like, why would I give a fuck? Like, you go do you, boo. If you feel like you could do better than me, go for it. I'm not gonna fight. Your affection and your love is not like something I'm gonna compete for. It's just not. Like, oh shit. And like, that's just how I am as a personality. Like, I don't fight over people. If you want to play games, I'm not gonna play those games. Mother trucker, please. And then, like, so, yeah, that happened. And then they also said some other shit that got me really pissed off. Like, it's like, so this is not that person specifically. It was just somebody they happened to, like, be in the same area as. And, like, there's this, like, douchebag guy who was, like, hitting on all these other girls who were, and he's apparently, like, the person that he was hanging out with is married, for that matter. And then, what happened was that the guy would hit on all these, like, girls that they passed by, and then the person I was talking to was asked them, oh, why do you do that? Why are you hitting on all these girls? And the guy's response was, well, you know, as long as I love my wife at the end of the day, like, it doesn't matter. And I'm sitting like, are people seriously think that there's nothing wrong with, like, flirting and hitting on other people while they're married? Like, no, like, right? Disgusting. There's plenty of people this road have absolutely no reason to compete. What won't make you feel have to discuss? Yeah, it's like, that's called emotional cheating. First of all, I don't care. Like, if you feel like you're like you think it's innocent and no, that's called emotional cheating. 1 and 2. Not only are you being like a huge fucking asshole to all these girls, like, you're window shopping. You're essentially window shopping for, like, somebody else. I don't care what anybody else says, right? And, like, because what if you do find someone who's, like, is, like, super reciprocal and, like, you super vibe with them, but then you're married, right? On top of that, like, no, like, come on, dude, like, don't do that. So don't ever pull that kind of shit, guys. Like, I don't think anybody in the community here would ever do that, but, like, you know, the reality is that, like, there are going to be people who may surprise you and may try to pull that kind of stuff. So definitely, like, you don't need those kind of people in your life, you know? And granted, the person I was talking to wasn't the person who was doing it, but the fact you would hang out with somebody and, like, the fact you asked me about, like, the justification of it is, like, insane. Because I'm like, what do you think my response is going to be? Oh yeah, you're totally right. He's not doing anything wrong. No, I'm gonna, like, fucking call that shit out. Like, I don't agree with that. And it is kind of depressing to think that there are some people who do sit there and go like, oh, well, there's nothing wrong because nothing's happening. I'm like, you're only saying that nothing's happening, but do you actually mean that there's nothing happening? I don't know that. I don't know the situation they have. And my only opinion is, like, if you are hitting on somebody, like, and the only way for it to be okay is if your supposed wife does it, as it's allowed to do that as well. You have an open relationship and communicating with it, or the wife is there in front of them and is like okay with it. You know what I mean? Like, there has to be some sort of, like, respect involved in this. But I don't see this because it's clearly that he's, like, they're sneaking around behind their back, right? Setting himself to his wife to win everything in the divorce. There are some people who do see nothing wrong with it, but are super upset if their partner did. Exactly. People don't want to admit it, but the people who surround themselves with projection of who they are. Well, exactly. So, like, I was just like, no, that's a terrible thing, and that's called cheating, or, like, emotional cheating. Oh, there we go. And then, so that's already a red flag as it is, because like you sit there going like, okay, like exactly, you are asking me this question clearly because it's something that you're comfortable with the idea of. It's not like, oh, what do you think of this? It was just like I don't know, the idea of like the whole conversation in the direction was just giving me like super bad vibes to the point where I was just getting physically angry. I was just like, ooh, I cannot stand people like this. I just need someone to rant to. So I ranted to my mom, and then I ranted to somebody else, and it made me feel so much better, because like it made me realize that, like, you know, because I'm sitting there going, Emma, is it just me who thinks this, or is it like, or is this the person who has like problems that they need to deal with, clearly. But no, I got a lot of reassurance that Munii is not crazy. Munii's crazy, but not that crazy, you know? Go Munii, well.